John!
What?
Red 7!
I don't know what Red 7 means.
Hot route!
I don't. What is hot route?
Will you just go stand on the other side, please?
Down!
Come on.
Ready, down, set, hut, 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 hut!
Booyah! That's what we call a sacked lunch. Nom, 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 nom.
It's time for the SoonerScoop.com postgame show. Now, here's your road crew, Carey, Eddie, and Bob, wrapping up all the action and reaction from this week's game.
All right, we made it. It is the first postgame podcast of the 2020 season. We did it, folks. We are here. We had a football game. Not a lot of players for Oklahoma made it to the football game, but they did win it easily, 48-0. Probably should have been like 77-0. But I think the fact that OU was missing some running backs, that Lincoln Riley wanted to get players off the field once it was in hand, kind of slowed the game down. And my God, the breaks were just achingly long in this thing. I don't know how many commercials they were.
Way too many for a freaking pay-per-view game.
I mean,
I'll tell you that right now.
God, it was, and I'll say this, wearing a mask for 4 hours is no fun. It is. I don't know how you were handling it, Bob, but
my
I think
glasses fog up like crazy.
I noted after 3.5 hours, and I bought new like cloth masks that I've been using the surgical ones, and I thought this will be a lot more comfortable. Plus, there's a lot of walking involved on game days. And I just determined after 3.5 hours, I'm done wearing a mask. That's the most I can take.
I went a little bit underneath the nose for a while. I know that I'm probably not supposed to be doing that up there in the photog booth, but
Well, you're in an open air area, too.
yeah, like everybody's okay up there, so it wasn't too bad. But it does suck. I feel for the people that have to do that kind of stuff.
So let's start off with the players who were not there today. We spent a considerable amount of time in the pregame tracking all that stuff down.
I mean, that's the most wild thing I've ever had to do. No doubt. Like, okay, like, I was literally just sending you guys numbers because I was so high up there, you can't really tell. It's like,
them.
All right, 3, 14, 15, 25.
It really was like, what do these Egyptian hieroglyphics mean?
It's just crazy.
And I was
crazy.
translating.
It's the world that we live in, though.
But, we always do that. Like, we look for people that are hurt or not dressed out. But literally, we had to account for every player on the roster before the game started.
It's just insane. And come to find out, it was more than I thought.
Way more.
It was more than I thought.
The official, was it 21? Was that on the 2 deep, Bob?
Yeah, it was 20 or 21. It was crazy.
A lot of the numbers you were sending, Eddie, they were walk-ons, and I was just like, that guy. Like, no, moving on. Like, I don't care about him. Of course, we'll probably care about Finn Corwin moving forward, or at least Bob will.
Stock up.
Oh, definitely some stock up. The pride of Highland Park, right? Him and Chandler Morris getting some run today.
Chandler.
Well, okay, so in terms of the guys that were not there, I mean, when you add a lot, it hurt depth, but I don't know that it really hurt. Other than TJ Pledger, I think they would have liked to have had a third running back. Although Todd Hudson, stock up.
Hey, do you remember he was talked about a little bit during the Peach Bowl, wasn't he? Because he was doing scout team Edwards Hilaire, I thought.
That might be.
Like, am I crazy for thinking that his name came up a couple times when we were in Atlanta, Bob?
His name has been brought up by Deshaun White a couple times.
Okay, because he was doing.
Okay, it was.
He was doing.
White, yeah.
He was doing the. What's it called? Scout team stuff for them.
So I mean, it ended up being T.J. Pledger. Well, of course, you had Ramondre Stevenson suspended. The pardon didn't come through. Braden Willis, Trajan Bridges, pardon didn't come through. Anton Harrison, a listed starter. Eddie's drinking beer. Stacy Wilkins.
I have a couple cold ones. Andrew
Rame. Obi Obialo, who was the most surprising one.
That one was one of those, it's like, oh, shit, he's not out here. 82. Where's he at?
Drake Stoops, which allowed us to have Finn Corwin night tonight. Maybe
Sure.
they'll be bottleheads.
Sure.
because he's never going to play when Drake comes back. Ronnie Perkins, not pardoned. Marcus Stripling, who they can really use. Corey Roberson. Caleb Kelly out, injury. Shane Witter. Oh, man, Josh. Poor Josh.
Jordan Kelly, too.
Jordan Kelly is okay. Caleb Kelly, forget that. We're not doing injuries because we're not doing Hazelwood either, who's injured. Jordan Kelly, Shane Witter, DJ Graham, right? Kendall Dennis, Justin Broyles, Bryson Washington, not Woody Washington, but Bryson Washington, and Gabe Burkich.
There were it wasn't guys outside of maybe an Anton Harrison, outside of Obi Obialo, I guess. It was just guys that would have worked in there in the second and third quarter, right? It was
Pledger.
And Pledger, obviously. Yeah. Who's the fourth? Because they had 4 starters out, didn't they?
Burkich.
And Burkich.
Yeah.
That's right.
But welcome to the party, Steven Johnson, you magnificent bastard.
Hey, I thought the 42-yarder that he made, he nailed that.
Did you see Lincoln Riley's reaction?
Oh, he was so excited.
Stoked. He was a stoke lord.
It was overall though, let's get the lead out of the way. Spencer Rattler was really, really good.
Really good. I mean, accurate, deep accurate, and I would say the story of the game is Rattler and Marvin Mims, Bob.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just then you look at Rattler's line, those 3 incompletions, 2 of them are drop touchdowns. That could have been, his numbers could have been even more insane than what they ended up being.
And I guess if those are 1A and 1B, number 2, or maybe even 1C has to be Seth McGowan. I mean, he is I thought he was going to be pretty good. Obviously, we heard things, Teddy Lehman was saying that he was a guy that could play in the NFL tomorrow, or a coach had told him that. But he was better than I thought he was. He gets to the hole fast. Everything he does
everything fast. Yeah. He only has 1 speed.
And if you want to go 1D, I thought defensively, I know Missouri State's terrible, but guys like Isaiah Thomas played well. Guys like Delaware and Turner, I thought
Asamoah played well.
I thought he played well. Yeah, Asamoah.
Yeah, Asamoah was tremendous tonight.
And then, I mean, even, Brian Mead had a sack, and I swear to God he thought it was still practice because he just wrapped it up and stood there. Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to strip it, and then he let Deshaun White finish it.
But that was weird. But in David Agwebu looked good in the time that he had. I mean, David Agwebu is just so damn big.
I'll tell you what, him and Perrion Winfrey, they look pretty sexy out there with single-digit numbers, big guys like that.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that. I thought Agwebu played pretty well, though. We all kind of agree Perrion Winfrey was a...
Is it Agwebu?
Agwebu?
Agwebu.
Yeah.
Agwebu.
You said
what did I say?
Awegbu.
Awegbu. That's going to be like Siebert Seibert for a minute.
Good. We need one of those.
Yeah. I thought Perrion Winfrey, do we kind of agree that he might have been suspended for the first quarter?
Well, and Josh's response on our warm room was that's very on brand for Perrion Winfrey.
Because your starting lineup was LaRon Stokes, John Michael Terry, and Isaiah Thomas. And if Winfrey would have been available in the first quarter, he would have been out there.
John Michael Terry looks like Captain America before he went in the machine and then came out, and everything on him was bigger. Like, he's gotten so much bigger since last year. Of course, he was hurt last year, but he has spent some significant time in the weight room. He's swole, as the kids say. Yoked.
I thought, for the most part, a bunch of those guys looked like they had changed their body a little bit. I know it's hard to, kind of tell from all the way up there.
Spring,
but
so, I mean...
Yeah. It was a successful opening night. How about that?
Also, I thought it was really interesting that, guys, I think Lincoln Riley has gotten conservative. I think he's turning into Bob a little bit.
I mean, that game could have easily been 70-0.
Oh, boy.
If you don't turn the ball over inside the red zone, you had to settle for what? 2 field goals inside the 15-yard line, I think.
I think Lincoln Riley 4 years ago would have put 70 on him in this game.
Well, they could have tried to.
But, I mean, what I'm saying is they got the lead, and he was like, let's get guys out of there. Like, Creed Humphrey left the game before halftime. Tyrese Robinson got hurt shortly after that, and it really wasn't anything. He popped up and basically ran off the field. I think it was a cramp, but they never put him back. They put Bray Walker in for him and played him the rest of the way. I think they didn't want to run the running backs a lot because they don't want to.
That made sense.
Yeah, I mean, that made sense to be careful there, but it was just like they got to 41 and the game just slowed to a crawl.
Because I think that was one of the big questions was how do you balance running up the score with the lack of reps that all these guys have had, and now you jump into conference play. Spencer Rattler throwing 17 passes. That's enough to make you feel confident.
But then Mordecai threw 17 too.
Yeah.
And then Chandler Morris slung it all over the place.
I think Chandler Morris is better than
Tanner Mordecai.
I mean, I know that it was such a small sample size, but Chandler Morris had a little bit of giddy up with him.
He's got some juice.
And shit, I thought, in a way, I mean, and I know it's scrub time or whatever you want to call it, but I thought Trevin West played pretty well.
He played really well. Really well.
Like, you better pick it up, Rambo.
Yeah.
There is. If
Rambo is not right now, I'm not willing to say that he is an elite receiver. And it's because, like, CeeDee Lamb, between his sophomore and junior year, he really focused on change of direction, explosiveness, and it showed. Charleston Rambo, when he fielded that first punt, it was wide open for him to go score, and he made about 5 moves and didn't move 1 yard down the field, and then everybody tackled him. And then you saw the difference when Marvin Mims came in. He just fielded the punt, went down the field, and he was fantastic, guys.
If there's anything that go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, when you look at Rambo, it's 4 for 80 for two touchdowns, and he's always the guy that should be like 6 for 150 and 3 or 4 touchdowns. There's 1 or 2 that he always lets.
He should have caught that touchdown pass. He should have caught it.
Yep.
If there was anything that I took out of today, it's that, obviously everything looked pretty clean. You get out of there without any injuries, all that kind of good stuff. But you look at the young guys in the program right now, and you can tell that, like, obviously recruiting matters. And they have a lot of guys right now that if the guys in front of them don't continue to make those steps, they're going to get passed up.
It also, but there's also some positions like receiver. Like, there are not people on that field as good as Jaden Hazelwood and Trajan Bridges.
No.
Like Theo Howard today, I think he's just an okay player. I don't think he should be in your starting rotation. I think they need to get Theo Weiss more involved. Rambo, fine. He's your leader. He's the guy that's ascended. He's put in his time. Give him his shot, but you get a healthy Hazelwood, you get Bridges back from suspension, Theo Weiss, Marvin Mims. Those are 4 dudes right there, and they might all be better than Charleston Rambo.
Oh, shit. And by the way, you have an H-back group that I thought, I don't know, maybe I'm just developing a man crush. I know that Josh is already a huge fan of him. I thought Mikey Henderson played pretty well tonight.
Stock up big time tonight.
Like, he's a guy that he looks comfortable when he catches the ball. He looks comfortable running with the ball in his hands. And that's not even to mention, like, Braden Willis obviously didn't play tonight. He, I guess he's in quarantine or whatever. But, Stogner, he had the 1 drop, still had a couple nice catches.
So the touchdown, it was high and hard. Like,
I wouldn't say that
it
was a
was
tough
on
shot.
Rattler more than it was on Stogner.
Although
if you're 6'6",
I'd have to see it again because I didn't have a very good shot of it from upstairs either. I was kind of secretly glad that he didn't catch it because it would have been a shitty shot. Sometimes that happens.
Sometimes you root against touchdowns because it affects your art.
Yes, very much so.
But, look, the offensive line could have opened up holes. Short yardage wasn't always perfect tonight. I think that's one thing that you can kind of say.
Were
they
you
got
were you
something to work
surprised
on.
by that? Because I mean, with everything that kind of came into it, with especially with what Bill Beatenbow told us a couple weeks ago about the 2 deep, you figure, okay, well, if they miss some guys, it's going to be okay. And granted, the guys that played tonight were also guys that had all played before. I mean, you didn't have any new guys out there necessarily.
Yeah, and they didn't have 100 rushing yards until like the final drive.
I'll say this, and I know there's been mixed reactions to Marcus Major tonight. He's a guy that's big and physical, runs hard, but he doesn't run through anything.
Looks like he's still trying to get, I don't want to say up to speed, because I don't think that that's the right thing, but it just seems like he's in a feel-out process, and then you give the ball to a guy like McGowan, and like McGowan is, he gets the ball and goes. Mm-hmm. I don't know. They're 2 very different runners, and I don't know. In a way, I feel like it should be flipped. Like Marcus Major is the guy that's been around the program longer. He should be the guy that is hitting the hole and going. I don't know.
He needs to be a little better. I mean, and I'll be honest, I won't mind if we see a little bit more Todd Hudson. I know he's only 5'5", but boy, he's elusive.
Saw the guy from Kansas State today. He's going to be a terror in the Big 12 for the next couple of years.
22 or something.
Vaughn,
that little dude? Yeah, Vaughn. He's really good.
Deuce Vaughn, yeah.
He's a good-looking player, but tiny.
Did you say that they ended up saying that Wayne Jones is okay? That's who that was.
Yes.
That got hurt.
Yeah.
The kid from Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah.
Owasso.
Yeah, he's going to be fine. It was really scary.
Well, good for him. His football team, though, because they are terrible. As far as well as the rest of the Big 12 that played today. Texas Tech, embarrassing. They won, thank God.
I mean,
Iowa State.
Iowa State, it's not unexpected. They always embarrass the conference in the
It is unexpected, but I don't know. I guess I'm part of the problem. I kind of bought in that they were going to be a little bit better this year.
I'm just they're 8-4. That's, I mean, I know they're not playing 12 games this year, but
believe me, every OU fan knows that when OU goes up there on October 3rd or wherever
it's going to
is,
suck, and they're going to fight for their lives.
They will play very well up
Yeah.
there. And that will be the most frustrating thing out of it, all of this.
But that's why today is why Oklahoma keeps winning the Big 12.
No, you're right.
Because, you'll have an Iowa State that'll go beat Oklahoma State when nobody expects them to, but then they'll turn around and lose to TCU or somebody they're not, that's having a down year.
Yeah. No, you're right. Just a weird opening weekend. I mean, what did you guys think as far as the game day atmosphere?
Yeah.
I told somebody, I think it was TJ Eckert or somebody up there, I said, been coming down here for games as long as I can remember, and that was the weirdest, just the feel around it. Driving, I went straight down Lindsay Street
no traffic,
for the first time in probably 15 years.
Yeah, I just came over on Porter and then came over to Lindsay and came down to our parking garage, and no traffic at all.
No, and not even, I was actually a little surprised that there weren't, and not, students were out in front of their houses and that kind of stuff around the fraternity and sorority houses, but I was surprised that there weren't people. I didn't feel like there were people out and about. It was just students.
I'm just waiting for a student reporter to get assaulted for taking video of college parties near campus, because it's like we all know that's going on. We saw the student section today. They didn't social distance.
No.
They were all and that's gone on. That's not exclusive to Oklahoma. At Notre Dame, they had the same thing. And I will say this: the people that were there, the donor fans, did a great job. Social distances. I saw everybody wearing masks. I say this, I don't know why. I just thought I should take some extra masks with me, so I stuffed a bunch in my backpack, and I don't know how people didn't know this, but there were 3 guys out in front begging people, asking people if they could buy masks from them because they wanted to go to the game and they didn't know they had to have masks to get in.
I don't understand how that
I don't either.
Were they poor?
Huh.
They were T-shirt fans, I guess you could say at best, for sure. I mean, jorts,
Oh, really?
Yeah, one
like
had
real
jorts.
life jorts?
Yeah, I think so.
Haven't seen those out in the wild, although I did see
Oh, you
one pair
have.
I saw one pair in Weatherford on Friday night.
But you know someone that wears jorts still.
I don't know if those are jorts. I think the next time that I see them, I'm going to ask if I can touch them.
Docker shorts.
Like a, I don't know what
They're cargo jorts.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
They are cargo jorts.
Exactly.
And you don't see those very often. In fact, Josh and I were talking about those on Friday night. I don't even know if you can buy those at stores anymore. I think you have to order them online.
I bet that's true. Anyway, so I see the guys asking for masks, and I take pity on them. They're like, you have masks? I was like, yeah, I have masks. And I really wanted to give them a talking to. Like, I don't know how you guys didn't know that you needed to have a mask to come to the game, but I'm going to give these to you, and you better not throw them away as soon as you get in the stadium. You better wear these.
I would love to know if there was anybody that sat in the stands that, like, were they coming around and, like, sir?
Monitoring?
Yeah, like,
I don't
need
know.
to put your mask up.
Obviously, they weren't at Florida State today.
Were they not?
Oh, no.
I mean, those people can do whatever they want. That's such a
Florida.
pathetic football program.
Well, yeah, and they're just like, just please come to our games.
Yeah. Talk about it, just a terrible
Coach
program
keeps
right
losing
now.
the team every month.
I just don't understand it.
But no, I mean, it was odd, but I didn't think it hurt. It wasn't like, I thought there was a relative amount of noise throughout the game. Now, you could tell people were like me. About 3 hours, they reached their mask threshold, and they were out of there. That place dumped out about late in the third quarter. There were very few people left. So, but I don't know. I mean, it was weird, but it still felt like football. So,
no, it was. And, I think that there was a lot of things that you can, and it's kind of one of it's weird to like talk about the game. And it was even weird to talk about it before the game too, because it's like, it was a glorified scrimmage. You're not getting a whole lot out of it, but you can sit around and say like, Seth McGowan looked good. Marvin Mims looked good. I thought Perry Winfrey looked good when he got in. Isaiah Thomas, that kind of stuff is encouraging to see. It's just going to be a matter of, can they do it when it really begins in 2 weeks?
yeah.
So do you think most of the guys that weren't there today are positive cases, or are they mostly contact tracing?
I bet it's like 7, 8, 9 positives, and the rest were contact tracing.
Yeah. I still think that the contact tracing stuff is just ridiculous, but I've already gone off on the tangent.
There's going to have to be some answers about, if they went to daily testing, could they cure some of that stuff? But there's also that thought out there, like if you do contact trace, sometimes it could take 6-7 days before you become positive.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. The 14-day thing is just kind of ridiculous to me, but they were able to get as many guys in as possible. And I think that, for what the game was, it was basically a success. I mean, you did, and you got out of there without anybody getting hurt. Was it Tyrese Robinson that went down that one time?
Yeah, I think it was just a cramp.
Yeah.
Because his first reaction to the sideline was bring me some water or Gatorade or whatever. So,
but I mean, it is good, Eddie. I know you kind of coined this phrase that Alex Grinch might kill a walk-on if they don't get a turnover. So, Delarian Turner-Yell, you saved a walk-on's life tonight.
I don't know. I mean, I would still be I'd still be a little bit nervous if I was a walk-on, like you said, Bob. I mean, they got the one. Was it Trey Brown that had the drop on a tip ball?
Hit him right in the gut. Yeah. Although it was deflected, so it wasn't like a clean, And then they had a turnover on downs, which I know Grinch doesn't count them, but he'll take them.
Some people will count them, probably.
Eddie he says that and he looks off into the distance with like a smirk. Like just like he knows it's a joke that nobody else is going to get except for us.
Fair enough.
What would you find your doppelganger in late last night? Mean Streets?
Oh, Mean Streets. I need to watch that tomorrow. I might watch it tonight when I get home. It's kind of scary how much that guy looks like me, though.
He looks like a heavier version of you, which I didn't know.
Yeah, possible. I know. It's kind of scary. That's why I'm working out nowadays.
That's your future you if you don't start working out.
I walk every day now. Around downtown.
I walked today. It sucked.
Yeah. I thought we were going to get lucky with parking in. I mean, we still did. I'm not going to say that we walked miles to the stadium, but it
Yeah,
was
they take care of us.
It was
And it's free.
I think it was further than what I'm used to.
It was definitely further than Sarkey's.
Yeah. Oh well. I like that walk though. From
I love
Sarkey's.
parking at Sarkey's.
Walking through like the tailgating scene
Yeah,
and all
I
that
do
kind
like
of
that.
stuff.
Of course, there's
I
no
always
tailgating,
enjoy
so it'd
that.
be depressing now.
Yeah, that's probably true. I didn't even get over to that side of the stadium, so I didn't really even see what it looked like. I mean, were there people over there?
I saw Gabe Eichert took a video. They were set up. The broadcast was set up over there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They had a little tent, and it was like two old guys and a party pick guy just walking back and forth, looking for people to take photos of. There was no one out there.
It's kind of sad.
It was eerie.
The whole thing it was just very strange. And
Well, the only atmosphere is inside the stadium now.
right.
Like,
and
you have to get
even
in the
inside the
stadium.
stadium, it's just at no point did I feel like it got quote unquote loud by any means.
Well, and OU announced that it was a sellout, but then they went on to talk about, I think my tweet was, OU announces a sellout, so it's official. They also gave a long speech about how this is the lowest attendance since olden times.
Since 1945.
When war was going.
War was going.
Now it's war against COVID and contact.
We're winning, I think. Oh well.
Now the question becomes, was Missouri State lying the entire time and all their team was positive, and now OU will just be decimated?
I mean, I think if that happens, they should be able to
Missouri
drive
State
the,
just like pocketed all the money that OU was giving them for COVID testing.
If that happened, they should be able to drive to Springfield and like
Burn down Bass Pro Shops headquarters.
yeah, or like kill Bobby Petrino or something.
Still, that was such a bitch move to go for the field goal.
I told you, Carey, it was taking a book out of the Bill Callahan playbook because I
That's a perfect
distinctly remember
I remember
the
that.
perfect
Nebraska
analogy.
kicking a field goal to get down by 35 to cover a couple years ago. Or not a couple, I guess it was 2000 what?
That
six?
is this the Kansas State game is just starting. Did they return the kickoff for a touchdown?
Arkansas
They
State?
blocked the punt.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
thinking of
it was
Louisiana and
It was
Iowa
Louisiana
State, yeah.
Lafayette that
Okay.
returned a kickoff and a punt. That was a nice note from Andrew Hutchinson on Twitter. Missouri State's 48-0 loss at Oklahoma marks the first shutout of Bobby Petrino's 186-game head coaching career, including the NFL. Last time Petrino led offense was shut out came in 1985 in an NAIA D2 tournament game. Carroll College lost to Wisconsin lacrosse 24-0. He was the OC.
Do you think he'll show
Kinda
up?
crazy.
You think he'll show up for his Central Arkansas press conference wearing a neck brace now?
That'd be awesome if he did.
Like this is worse than his motorcycle wreck.
I love some of
For
the
his career.
coaching moves that we've seen throughout the weekend, and it kind of started with the high school kids with the guy on the scissor lift, watching
Yes.
his team. That was he was
Oh, yeah,
quarantining or whatever.
yeah.
That was hilarious.
Well, and I gotta say, tweet of the night had to come from Gabe Burkich. Did you see that one?
Oh yeah, that was
Oh, yeah.
that was awesome.
The game had already started. He said, "Oh crap, my alarm didn't go off. I'll be right there."
And I saw that Braden Willis quoted it and was like, "Yeah, me too." I wonder, so do we know where those guys are at on campus? Because I remember
Did
when
they
Spencer,
put them in the quarantine hotel?
I think so. Because when Spencer Jones
Right.
was in them, I'm pretty sure it's those. I don't know if they want people knowing this, but it's like I'm pretty sure it's those not condos, duplexes.
Yeah.
Kind of over like on would that be West Campus or East Campus? I think.
Oh, like where the old fire station
Kind of, yeah.
is. Yeah.
I think that's where they are. I don't know. I guess it really doesn't matter.
Constitution. Around
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have one. I mean, we talked about this the other day. The problem is Headington.
Oh, I 100% think that they are experiencing a outbreak inside of Headington. And, I mean, what did they expect? All these people living together?
I mean, all those kids that were partying, he's having some beer gas problems. All those kids that are partying that don't give a shit, they live in Headington.
Yeah.
So how are you supposed to avoid that if you're a football player?
Yeah, I'd heard that the golf team shut it down for a couple days. Well, 2 weeks, what they had to do. You saw the soccer game get banged. I mean, going back to, if we want to go all the way back to Friday afternoon, I know that we were talking in the war room, and, I mean, there was a good, I don't know, what do you think, Bob, like 45 minutes to an hour? I thought they were going to cancel the game. I thought they were going to postpone
It's close for sure, and they probably, you add someone like a Stacey Wilkins, you got to figure he was a late add-on or late. You wonder how many more guys it really would have taken for them to call it off.
Shit, I never counted today, but what were they suited out wise, I wonder?
You mean total?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they were down 20, including the suspensions, you're like between 80 and 85 total.
And you need
and then you're looking at
53
injuries too, like Caleb Kelly.
Yeah.
It's like Justin Broyles had an injury.
Jaden Hazelwood.
There were probably,
And you lose Kennedy. You lose Redmond.
there were probably 9 kids that were just sitting on the sidelines.
Walk-ons,
Like
yeah.
Jaden Hazelwood was one of those guys
Marcus
he was
Hicks
there.
was out.
Marcus Hicks, Cade Horton,
Justin Harrington.
That's 4 right there.
So you're hovering in the 70s, maybe the 60s.
I mean, you get into the 60s, you're literally talking about that final group going through, and you're kind of
you have
clenching your ass cheeks, wondering
you have 3 positives, and then you're probably going to have double that, triple that contact tracing. You
insane.
probably didn't have 53 men.
yeah, you probably wouldn't have been able to play.
But at the same time, you look at it like, how many people were really the key to winning and losing? As long as those guys stayed healthy that were out there.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's scary knowing that basically every Friday OU's going to, or everybody, not just OU, is going to be in this position of hopefully, you would hope over the next month though that, I'm not going to say that they're going to get COVID off campus. I'm not that stupid, but I would hope over the next month you, through contact tracing, through mitigation or whatever, you
Just
start
say what
progressing
you're wanting to
towards
say. Herd immunity. Herd immunity is what you're talking
I
about.
wouldn't even say. I mean, is it herd immunity though?
Well, what it is when everybody has it, they can't spread it anymore because nobody gets it.
Okay.
That's herd immunity.
Yeah. Well, you would
I
hope
was
that
gonna
it
say
would get to
that-
that point.
Now that these guys have had it, now they understand what's really going on and the fact that there is 2 weeks. I always thought the first bye week was ridiculous, but it's going to mean the world to OU because now all those guys that were out tonight, there's no reason they can't be back in two weeks. And the rest of the guys now fully understand what happens if they don't stay disciplined this entire time.
Well, and here's the problem is that because of contact tracing, they're able to know exactly where people were that put them in that position.
Yep.
So they know if people are making good decisions or poor decisions. And if enough of this is just, well, he was in the dining room when these 3 people were in there from the student population, like if that stuff keeps happening, like it's got to drive Lincoln Riley nuts. I mean, because he's got to know, like, if it's not for other kids on this campus, we'd be fine. But yeah, if you're going out to the lake or going on a party bus, Memphis, I mean, then you're doing stupid shit.
Hey, I was talking shit about Memphis going on a party bus, but after Arkansas State went to Kansas State tonight and won, maybe they deserve the party bus. Maybe we can make an excuse for them.
Arkansas State's not terrible. So,
Jonathan Adams is really good.
Yeah.
Their wide receiver.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, we learned that Spencer Rattler is the guy tonight. There's no doubt about it. And how good can he be? He can be as good as they've had. He really can. Now, I think he's a little too nonchalant at times in the pocket. But maybe that's just kind of his deal. Maybe that will get bigger. There weren't many throws I can't remember many throws tonight that you just like, Oh, that was a poor decision. Like Tanner Mordecai made one of those, but
yeah,
he
the
didn't.
interception was bad. But outside of that, quarterback played. I mean, they're good. There's just no doubt about it. And
what you wonder about Rattler, he did get sacked 3 times. Was that on the line, or is that on a freshman not knowing how to read the pocket and what he's got to do?
Or is it on just having receivers that weren't getting open?
I would say a little bit of both, as far as maybe some guys and him just not wanting to pull the trigger quick enough.
Yeah,
but I thought he held on to a couple.
Yeah, he definitely did. Or he just didn't have a receiver to throw to, and he didn't make a bad decision and make the throw.
And shit, I mean, at the same time, I think that it was also a situation too of just haven't played in a while. Like, got it out of that rhythm of being able to get the ball, like having that little clock in the back of your brain.
How does that clock in your head work when you haven't had live bullets going all the way back to high school?
And the only time that you have played is when, the whistle blows and you don't have to throw it away.
Or when it's garbage time. Yeah.
Sure.
And it doesn't really mean a whole lot.
Sure.
And nobody's really trying to kill you. So, I don't know. I mean, a lot of good stuff today. I mean, the competition level makes it hard to, judge how good this offense is, but it's one game. I mean, Kansas State will teach us a lot because they're a real football team, even though they lost today.
Well, good they are, but it was just good to see them, I guess, if nothing else, go through the motions. And you were able to see guys that you hadn't seen in a while play. And I thought, I thought there was a lot of positives. There weren't too many negatives. And obviously, when you're up 41-0 and can name a score at halftime, you're not going to find a lot of negatives. But even being nitpicky about stuff, there wasn't a whole lot.
You know what I want to know? Does Lincoln Riley have a rule that the player of the game cannot be Spencer Rattler? Because Charleston Rambo was the in-stadium player of the game, and I just wanted to stand up and go, that is bullshit.
Who, that's not COVID.
It better not be.
It's not COVID. Who votes on that? Like, did they just, turn to somebody in the press box, like, who do you want over here? And they're like, all right, Charleston Rambo.
Comfort Solutions.
Marvin Mims did a whole lot more than Charleston Rambo today.
Like Lincoln must have a freshman can't win that.
Got to keep that chip on the shoulder.
He has a lot of weird rules.
Who?
Lincoln,
Riley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we did not get McGowan or Mims for interviews, and I would expect if you're not going to get them after a night like tonight, that would mean that true freshman will be off the table the rest of the season.
I mean, Marvin Mims is the best kid too. Like, he's not going to do anything stupid.
You wouldn't think so.
I mean, I remember he went over there and consoled Prince Dorba after they beat them in the state playoffs.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah.
And he and Chandler Morris were very, they hugged and everything. Yeah. Like, he's just a good kid.
No, he seems like he is. I've never talked to him, but Josh has, I know, multiple times.
So, okay, let's just go through it real quick. Stock up. Bob, I'll let you go first.
All right, we'll just go with Marvin Mims because I guess we'd heard so much about him, but actually seeing it in person and how quickly, I think it was the punt returns that really stood out. I mean, just after you watch Rambo stutter step and still get
go nowhere.
11 yards, and then Mims takes it 30, it's like, oh, that's how it's supposed to look like. And, it didn't matter about COVID. Mims is going to see a lot of time, regardless of who's available to play.
Oh, I think he's going to take jobs. I mean, depending on who's in front of him, I think he's coming after jobs. I don't think he has to worry about people getting hurt or COVID.
That 58-yard touchdown, he had the corner safety beat badly. And it was almost a perfect thrown ball, but it's a little underthrown.
Yeah.
But he adjusted to that perfectly where he didn't let the defender catch up to him. I mean, it was just he's got ball skills, man. He really does.
You know what? I thought just real quick on Rattler too. A couple of those deep balls today, doesn't seem like he puts too much effort into those. Like it is
Easy
just just a simple flick.
And it's not like a floater. I mean, it has some velocity on it.
I mean, everybody's going to talk about the two throws that he had today were just unbelievable. It was the throw inside the 5 to Jeremiah Hall on the back shoulder.
Right, that he came back to.
And then the throw, I thought, to the outside to Theo Weiss that he kind of tiptoed down the sidelines.
Oh, and Weiss was so mad that he didn't stay in bounds.
Jalen Hurts would literally, he would kill OU Tony to be able to throw the ball like that.
Or maybe he would finally
indulge
her in her fantasies.
God.
There's a spoiler alert from Eddie. There's 2 of the 5 plays that I've picked.
Oh, both of those throws?
Yep.
For the 5 plays on Sunday?
Well, and I think the Rambo throw might have been his best that he dropped in the end zone.
Oh, no, it was 100%.
He threw it outside shoulder where only he could get it.
It was a beautiful throw.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful throw. For him to drop that, I was just like, oh, man.
He just didn't track it.
Come on, Charleston.
He just didn't track it, right?
Yeah.
So, Eddie, who was your stock up for today?
I mean, honestly, I'd go Delaware Turner-Yell. I thought he was exceptional from the safety today. Delaware.
Remember we said it's like DeLorean? It's just Delarin?
Delarin. DTY.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a douchebag. Trouble? Did you play well today? No, I thought he played really well today, though. In fact, I thought for the first time in a while you saw a safety like coming downhill and striking people.
Yeah. By the way, talking about people who have gotten bigger, Pat Fields is a lot bigger.
Yes, that's the one that came to mind for me.
Okay. Well,
did I take yours?
Nobody said Rattler, but I'll go on the defensive side, too. I'm going to give it to Brian Asamoah. I thought he really set the tone physically early.
He made the first 2 plays of the game,
playing the will spot. Yep. I mean, there's like you said, Isaiah Thomas deserves some credit, some mention. Saw a lot of good stuff from Perrion Winfrey, although you're kind of pushing it on the armbands around the legs.
Oh, I kind of like those. I thought that looks pretty clean.
I thought he was wearing red and white like McDonald's like stirrups or something at first.
Like old baseball stirrups?
Yeah, like he was trying to.
That's what it looked like from our vantage point.
I thought it because the sun was coming down. It looked like it was red and white there for a minute. I was like, does Jordan make those? Where did those come from? And then after he rolled around on the ground a couple times and they moved around, I could tell what they were.
I thought he was. You can just tell, and I'll put up some video, and it's actually kind of cool because we're shooting up top this year. You can kind of see how things are developing up top better, and there were a couple plays like it's very noticeable when Perrion Winfrey was in the game, and he's not gonna be facing little center that Missouri State had, but I mean he was moving that guy all around today.
It'll be interesting to see when Jordan Kelly comes back how much he plays, but. You saw Zach McKinney play quite a bit today. You saw a lot of LaRon Stokes, a lot of Isaiah Thomas.
And I would also add, too, that it was very apparent after the game that I feel like they think that Isaiah Thomas could really end up being a really strong player for them. Like one of those guys that they kind of want or kind of is pushing to be like the face of this defense, if you will. A guy that talks to the media, a guy that, because he's very well spoken. We talked to him, on Tuesday?
Yeah.
This week? Tuesday or Wednesday. But I thought he played pretty well. He had 2 back-to-back plays, tackles for loss, that he looked good. He looked really good.
Do we dare stock down after this game? Do we even have 3 people that we can give stock down to?
I'm going Trey Brown.
Yeah, I had one hit him right in the gut.
He dropped the pick. He allowed a couple passes his way. When they're not completing any passes, and if he's supposed to be the lockdown guy, this isn't a game where that happens.
I can't disagree.
You got to be harsh.
He didn't have a great game.
You got to nitpick.
Yeah.
I don't know if Charleston Rambo's there. I don't want to turn this into a just shitting on Rambo type thing, so I won't say him.
But he had a bad punt return. He dropped a touchdown pass.
All right, well, then let's throw him in there. We'll throw him in there then.
And your expectation level for him should be CeeDee Lamb. I didn't see a CeeDee Lamb type start to his season.
Is it just terrible if I say Tanner Mordecai?
No.
You can't throw a pick in the end zone. Can't you just?
And
can't
it was
do
like
that.
I said on the instant analysis, it was like watching someone play a ring toss game at the state fair. Like that was an impossible
just throw
pass.
it up there. Like, what are you doing, man?
He tried to lob it over 2 people. That ain't happening.
I need to see who it was in the left corner of the end zone that was so wide open.
I think it was Major coming out of the backfield. It might have been McGowan.
I mean, there was no one even close to that person.
Yeah, he
I
just
never saw a
didn't see
replay.
to his left.
Yep.
If we're gonna say Tanner Mordecai, do we have to backtrack and say stock up for Chandler Morris?
No.
Okay.
Not enough of evidence.
He only played, what, 2 series? Or was it only the 1 series?
It was 1 because they got down to the 2-yard line and they
Oh,
decided
man.
that's it. It's over.
I feel for the fan that took the minus 49 today, because you were literally a David Smith, like, reaching the ball out across the plane, or a Tanner Mordecai not throwing a pick because they would have settled for a field goal
Yeah, that was rough.
for covering.
There was a lot of people that were just like, there weren't many people left in the stadium, but there are a lot of people that knew what was coming, and they did not like it.
Oh, just sitting
First
on it?
and goal
Yeah,
at
just
the
sitting
2
on it.
with 16, 18 seconds left, whatever it was. They could see it coming. They're just like, no.
Oh, as soon as he got tackled, it's like, all right, this is over. This is over.
I will go stock down. It's more not a person, more of a group. Stock down short yardage run game.
For sure.
Very good. That's 100%.
Of all the things you can really nitpick about today,
And
that's high up the list.
I don't necessarily think it was the running back's fault. Like, they were just getting blown up. Kind of blown off the ball a little bit.
And I was looking through by the way, my binoculars of, hell, I don't know, 20 years broke today.
Oh, man. What happened?
This plastic wore out on them finally.
So
they're
the binocular
they're
part
like
still
Bushnells.
works.
They're like really nice. Yeah, the binocular part still works, but
Do they even sell binoculars these days?
yeah, I've had to look. You can go to B&H and get them.
Oh, can you?
They have binoculars now that take pictures, which would be kind of cool. I might buy some of those.
I don't even understand what people do with binoculars nowadays. I mean, unless you're a
Creepy
peeping,
people.
unless you're a peeping Tom, why do you need binoculars? They have
Birders,
great TVs.
birders.
Oh, I don't believe that people really do that.
They're kind of one step away from PEDs, though. Oh, God, the birding community is going to come after me now.
That's fine. I bet they can't even work the internet.
I read the most bizarre thing after all the George Floyd stuff happened. It was a first-hand account about how birders run into racism. Like black birders. People who are black that are also birders.
Remember that guy in Central Park? That crazy white bitch yelled at him.
Yeah. Was he a birder?
Yeah, he was out in Central Park looking at birds.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I will say also, if we want to, this is kind of going down a different path, but I don't know if proud's the right word, but I was pleasantly surprised during the team unity
thing
that everybody cheered. There was not.
We don't have a bunch
single,
of jackass Kansas City Chiefs fans in.
There was
in
not a single
Oklahoma.
boo. I do have I have a theory on that. I think NBC piped in boos.
What?
There is
Create
video.
controversy?
There is video out
Oh,
there
God, no.
that, like, if you
Please,
listen, I think my
no.
buddy Andrew Carter put it up. If you listen to the video, you can't tell the boos are as loud as they were on TV.
Like they
on Thursday night.
Like NBC just turned up the crowd noise a little bit.
I'm not saying that they did. there might be something to that.
All right. I think we've reached the end. This is
I think that's it.
unless you want to give stock down to all the people who got COVID.
No, that would be hypocritical on my part.
Well, you can they can join the survivors group now with you.
Is it just terrible to say that you almost kind of wish that like all 20 of those guys that were out have it?
It's not.
It's just going to be weird.
Because when you hear about the Trey Norwood stuff, you're just like, he should have just got it.
Yeah. Like
that's the worst possible thing is to be stuck in contact tracing and not have it.
Yeah, like how on day 15 are you just not like just come over
cough on me, man.
Yeah, cough in my mouth real quick. It was It's
what would
crazy
be the
to.
best way to do it? Like, here, take this swab, put it in your mouth, and then you put it in yours. Maybe
Probably.
Here's some gum, chew it, and then let me finish. Is that even grosser?
I don't know. It sounds awful either way. I thought Brendan Walker played pretty well today too. Did we mention him earlier?
I'll say this: their kickoff coverage team looks good.
Like just with all the athletes being able to run down
fast,
there.
speedy, physical guys.
There's no doubt, like looking at some of the guys, and I think everybody kind of took this out of the game tonight, was just the fact that you look at the freshmen that are out there, they seem to be a different style of athlete.
Josh Eaton is very long.
Yeah. They seem to be like, and when you recruit as well as they have over the last couple of years, you should expect something like that.
Anybody else kind of worried about Jeremiah Cradell? He's so small.
I don't know if I saw enough. I love his afro, though, so he gets some extra bonus points for me. He took off his helmet, and I was like, holy shit. Look great.
I'm just trying to think of, like, by the way, somebody brought up a really good point tonight. They said, shouldn't Buki have been suspended for the first half after the LSU thing? And I just asked them if they were a cop. But I don't think it transfers from season to season.
No, it does, but it was in the first half.
It was in the first half.
Was it in the first half?
Yeah, it was only 21-7, I think.
Yeah, that game just seemed like it was over so
no,
quick.
That's exactly
it
what
seemed like that game was in the fourth quarter after the first quarter.
Bob, it might have been. Was it 14-7, and then they converted that long 3rd and 17 or whatever right after he got ejected? Or no, they got the first down because he got ejected, obviously.
Exactly. Yes.
That's what it was, because they were going to have to punt. And OU was going to get the ball back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would have completely changed that game around for sure. They would have gotten beat by 30 instead of 70. No, but yeah, because there was somebody, was it this morning or was it maybe Monday night in that BYU Navy game? Somebody had to sit out the first half because they had been ejected in the second half of a bowl game, yeah.
Wow.
I think it was a BYU guy.
All right, well, I'm old and I'm getting tired. I can feel myself waning.
We did it. They played a game.
They played
Oklahoma
a game.
played a game.
Check it off.
Over 6 months since this bitch shut down, and we're back at it again.
It did. I mean, this all seems very normal.
Yeah.
There is some normalcy amongst
There's
it.
plenty of normal today.
Yeah, for sure.
Flyover was nice.
Beautiful rendition by the Pride of Oklahoma. We'll wait for Jason Kersey's take on it, but
I kind of like the halftime deal that they're doing.
just not performing at halftime, just showing the video.
Yeah, I mean, it's you still get the band.
Why don't you think they did it on the
You
field?
know what's weird?
Why didn't they do it on the field?
Because of COVID, they're not doing it.
No, why didn't they record it
I
on the field?
Oh,
Why did they
yeah.
record it inside? Oh, it was probably raining. They probably did it on Wednesday or Thursday.
That's true. That's a good question. Yeah.
I wonder if they'll.
But it was weird because
Kersey, get on it.
They weren't on the field, but the teams didn't come out until like 2.5 minutes before the half started.
Was that a really long halftime tonight? Was that like longer than normal?
I don't know. I got some popcorn and a cookie and put some stuff up.
Do they have
on
all the
Twitter,
popcorn up in the
they're in individual
the rider
bags
thing?
now.
Yeah, I saw that.
The cookies are in individual
I
bags.
saw that. I thought the sandwich was not bad tonight.
I didn't eat the sandwich pregame.
It was better than the shit they normally have. Kudos to them.
All right, that's going to do it for our first edition of the post-game podcast of 2020. So thank you to Bob and to Eddie for staying up so late. It's past 1 o'clock. So
We'll have plenty of recap, audio, all that kind of stuff up on the site in the morning. I already got a couple stories up. Bob will have the 5 plays on Sunday afternoon as well. So plenty more to come.
We don't talk to nearly as many players. We only talked to 4 players tonight. So if you're looking for a lot of sound bites, sorry.
But we did talk to Rattler, and that was good. So
Yes.
he's a good talker. He handles himself well. He's not open. He's still playing the role of quarterback.
He'll get there. I think Spencer Rattler will get there for sure. He's just waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting for a big win. He'll come out and
Be a little cocky.
yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. We'll be back after the Kansas State game here in 2 weeks, hopefully. If we still have football then, I think that we will. It looks like we're going in the right direction. So thanks, everybody, for listening, except for Kansas, Iowa State, and Kansas State. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll see you guys next time on our next edition of the Postgame Podcast from SoonerScoop.com.